Parish orphans and retrogrades. What's up? Back from another little summer trip. And today we come back addressing something that happened, seemed a little bit incidental, kind of minor. It really wasn't. During the break, it was a Lila Rose show that she clipped and tweeted out. The important clip went completely ratioed. For those of you not on Twitter, this means everyone hated it. I mean, there are a few people that liked it, but more people hated it and responded to it. And here was what the clip, we're going to play it for you. Lila saying, men don't need sex. Men just act like perverts and they're hypersexualized. So everyone thinks that they need sex. And at the same time, she's interviewing a girl who says that she's like sexualizing a priest. She's having fantasies about a priest. It's completely whack. And everyone went nuts, rightly so. And of course, because it's Lila's feminism with all of its attributes on display, they wanted my feedback. That feedback is what today's episode will be comprised by. Steph, did you want to say something?
Oh, it's just funny. It was just like it's always feminists are like admonishing men for self-control, like ungodly amounts of self-control. And then in the exact clip, it's just a bunch of women without any self-control or self-awareness. Like, it's just like it couldn't have been more rich with irony. And of course, we were visiting my mom this past week. So we were like seeing all this and we didn't have the ability to go live. So you were like, okay, first show when we get back, it's going to be this.
It'll be a good one because, you know, I kind of feel bad for the Catholic feminists in a way. They're seeing that the world has turned and the case for patriarchy has been made and the people are buying it more and more and more. The Overton window is changing. And so they're still saying their feminist stuff. And they're seeing that just the crowd ain't buying it anymore. Lila is one of them. I'm going to read a few tweets because I tweeted about it. And then, of course, we're going to play the clip that Lila tweeted out. And she doubled down on it since then, by the way, trying to feel out for the soft part of the ground. Do I have to completely repudiate this to keep my audience? Can I half repudiate it? Should I fully repudiate it? That's what today's show is about. Do men actually need sex? And I don't like these gross shows. I don't like talking about sex. It's more about feminism than that, sex, but we're going to talk about that, sex as well. Brief announcement. In 3 weeks' time, 3 weeks from, I guess, 2 days ago. No, 3 weeks from yesterday. The school year begins. The retrograde Western Civ Gordon homeschool school year begins on September the 2nd. You, I guarantee, are doing homeschool wrong. If it stresses you out, and it stresses out 95% of women that stay home and do it, you are doing homeschool wrong. I have a short little class I put up for free on this is why you're doing homeschool wrong. And people said that's cool, but people are still stressed out about it. Allow me to do homeschool for you. In the mornings from 9 to 10, we're going to do grammar, mainly sentence diagramming, 10 to 11, Latin, 11 to 12, mathematics, and the whole semester for one kid or 10 in your household is $900 for the whole fall semester. And that's basically all you have to do. You can supplement in ways you want, but that's basically all you have to do. And by the way, the math only takes 15 minutes of your time. We do 3 age groups in that hour. So it's about 2 hours, 15 minutes with a couple recesses in there. That's how you do homeschool. And I'll show you specifically how to do it. Make your kids so much smarter, so much faster. Whereas other people are trying to do 4-hour school days, 5-hour school days. You're doing it wrong. Go to timothyjgordon.com. Can we fly that, please, Steph?
Oh, yeah, here it is right here.
Look, here's the difficulty with flying classes. I think we have a few people signed up right now. It's kind of a risk because I people are committing to me. I commit to you. We wanted, an initial 12 to 24 dozen to 24 families to sign up, join in. that really makes it especially worth our while. It gives us a good sample size so we know what adjustments to make. We don't want to only do this to 4 or 5 families. So if you have any doubts about homeschool at all, this is the great thing. It's a form of experimentation. You can fidget, can experiment, can try around, prove around for what works. This fall, we're going to do a $900 single semester spring as well. But this fall, you're only paying for 1 semester at a time. Try the Gordon method of homeschooling. It's fast. It'll make your kids smarter than everyone else. And it's basically no curriculum. You can pepper in what you like. Go to timothyjgordon.com. It's the page Intimidated by Homeschooling. Yes, we let people do one-off of the 3 sort of sections in it. We don't favor that. That's bad. That's more of what my old model was, take 1 class at a time. It's not as cheap. The easiest thing is just to get your kid a laptop, set them down from 9 to, a little bit before 12, 11:45. And your kid, depending on their math age group, will be done in 2 hours, 15 minutes.
It's Latin, sentence diagramming, and math. All the 3 classes that most people hate teaching the most.
Right.
Tim actually enjoys teaching those classes.
I love it. I love it. Hand it over to me. All the age groups we handle at once in Latin and sentence diagramming type grammar. We do them all at once there. So everyone's together. They get the full hour or, 40 minutes plus a break. But with math, it's like 15 minutes for this type of math, 15 for that, 15 for the third. So your kid will be in and out in basically less than 2 hours, 15 minutes. Hand that over to me today. Also, if you want to support the program, go to rulesforretrogrades /locals.com. Is that it? .locals.com.
I think so. I can put it on the screen too.
Okay, cool. Now, let's get to Lila.
Boy, chat is going off on that. That was kind of crazy.
Chat.
People.
Chat. If you have a remark you want me to respond to today, that would be super chat. We need your support, even if you can't do it regularly. Super chat me for comments you read on the air or things you want me to respond to on the air.
So for people who just listen to the podcast and maybe don't have Twitter, Lila Rose released an episode on her podcast, which is also on YouTube, and the title was, or the subject was, "Men Don't Need Sex." And on Twitter, she released this clip, which we'll play for everybody to look at. And everybody weighed in. It was not just Catholics. It was a wild landscape, like a Wild West of people out of nowhere, like non-Catholics.
Matt Walsh, Catholics sort of out of the Catholic scene. Everyone, Rollo Tomasi was in there. It was like all of conservative Twitter, not just Catholic Twitter, but all of conservative Twitter was going off. And it's schadenfreude. And I don't hesitate to say it. It's like, I started telling you guys 4 years ago or so that, this needs to go away. And guess what? It did. It did start to go away. The feminism within Catholicism, but people gave me a real hard time at first. You might remember that. That's fine. That's what happens to trailblazers. I'll say it this way, as I tweeted it. 4 years ago, I warned you all about the poorly camouflaged man hatred, conceptual gender bending, and officious, shrill, quote unquote, leadership by Catholic poor man's Mary Sue's like Lila Rose, Abby Johnson, Jackie Francois Angel with a hyphen, Carrie Gress, etc. All you long-housed ponces, I'm not talking to the retrogrades, of course, but all the other ones, kept tuning into their coffee clutch. Then, what was it, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, you turn around and caterwaul like you're up all night with toothache when it turns out that Christian feminist programming, like Lila's, is by and for maladjusted, frigid nerdettes more attracted to feminist priest manlets than to their own husbands. I didn't mention the priest manlet in question, but it's just funny because they're maybe priests with actory visages, but are 3'7" or whatever. Famously, I'm just having fun there. The whole Catholic scene is run by constipated room moms. That's the point. And I'm sick of all the self-immolation, particularly in full public view of Protestants and Orthodox. We are embarrassed by not only the Lilas and Abbies and Jackies and Carries out there, but by all the fact that they have large audiences and many men in those audiences.
Unbelievably. Yeah. All right. Are we getting to this clip?
Yeah. Now that I gave you the primer, let's see what Lila has to say for herself.
I'll get that ready for you. So this is the original clip. Tell me if you guys have a hard time hearing this. I'm going to try to get the audio on there. Okay, here we go.
Can we all talk about Father Mike Schmitz? I showed him to a girlfriend who's not Catholic, and she's like, when's Mass? What about the man needing sex? That's just a cultural narrative that basically says men are like animals and they have to be able to do this sexual thing. Otherwise, they're going to go crazy. And the reality is there's whole vocations that are celibate. And these are virile men, men's men. Some of the most masculine of men I know are priests. We need food. We need air to breathe. We don't need sex. It's a gift coming together, and it's designed to bring life into the world. I think the sexiest thing about a guy is like their self-control. And my husband has amazing self-control. So after baby number 4, when we started practicing NFP, it was like we couldn't do it sometimes when we wanted to. And that kind of made things a little steamier, like not gonna lie. It's hard on him too, don't get me wrong. People will say, well, oh, do you just do other things for your husband?
Very odd editing here. There's just some weird clips and gross and bedroom. All everyone wants to see are dorky Catholic girls talking about their bedroom. That's weird. But she's saying self-restraint is so sexy as she's talking in a gross way about this e-priest, this manlit e-priest, Father Mike Schmitz, who's also a big proponent of Christian feminism and mutual submission. So we don't approve of that. But I mean, nevertheless, he's ostensibly a faithful Catholic priest doing his duties, and he does his duties largely online, has a large online ministry. And she says something gross at the beginning, when's Mass? And like her friend said that, but she said it almost like she's intoning her own view. Like, why would you show your friend, who I think she said was Protestant, this priest? She's clearly showing her, I guess, to get a rise out of her. If she thinks that he's handsome. It's just an odd clip. It's an odd assortment of clips. And then after watching this dorky Catholic chick, I don't know who that is, Lila's guest, Lila then switches over to like, do men need sex? And that's weirdly related in a contraposed way to the words and concepts being intoned by her friend a second ago. Mm-hmm. And then it shifts over to the woman man shaming thing, where she's like, oh, priests are the most masculine men I know. No one wants to hear what women think are masculine. They can say what's a manly wile or what's attractive about men. I guess they do that for part of it. That's fine. But no one wants to know what a girl thinks is true masculinity. I don't think it's particularly true by and large. I'm not out on a limb saying that the priesthood has not been the most manly the last several generations. That's just not true. And like, also she's pitting the laymen against clerical men, saying like they're the most manly ones. It almost sounds like she's picking Father Mike Schmitz over her husband throughout the whole thing. And it's just not true in this generation. Maybe it's true in other generations, but the most manly men are not priests. We have a problem with lavender effeminacy in the priesthood. You know what I mean? And it's just annoying from start to finish. It's woman sort of shame signaling and man signaling and telling men how to be a good man from start to finish, all the way up to and including the marital act, sex. Men don't need sex, and that's just feminist sex shaming.
And it's funny because most women, just be honest, like most of you girls don't even know what a woman is, what you're designed to be. And these are the same women that are constantly out there chiding men. Well, a real man does blank. You don't even know what you're supposed to do. Don't tell guys what they're supposed to do. And frankly, like the question is just an odd question. Do men need sex? It's like, well, priests don't need sex, but married men, can we talk about this, are owed sex by their wives. The marital debt is real. And I know that a lot of Catholic feminists and Catholic women, even trad women, have a really hard time with this concept, but you signed up to give your body to your husband when you got married. That is a duty. That is a duty. I don't all these stupid excuses that women come up with. Well, what if I lose all my limbs in a bus accident or whatever it is? It's like, we're talking about regular times. You owe your husband sex. If he's a married man, then yeah, he needs sex. He signed up for sex. That's what marriage is. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. So these are two married women talking about this.
According to scripture, there is a conjugal debt. Now, this is the one thing Pius XII said, Steffi, that is mutual.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one thing that's reciprocal, egalitarian, is the conjugal debt. So men have to pay it to women, women have to pay it to men. It's not just women have to pay it to men. And it's weird because it's like the one thing that these broads talk about as if it's only one way. No, like you can, St. Paul says in holy inerrant scripture, women can call it in as frequently as they like, and men will be mortal sinning if they don't pay the conjugal debt. Same vice versa, women and men. Now, these frigid nerdettes, Catholic nerdettes online, they're just clearly frigid and weird and have dorky Nancy Drew kind of, sexually constipated fantasies or something about priests. It's really kind of odd. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of odd. They're making fantasies about other men, and it sounds like, the rhetoric is all in defense of denying your husband. Do men need sex? And that's really weird.
We'll tell men if they need sex. I'll let my husband know if he needs sex and when he gets sex.
Right. While they're fantasizing about e-priests, whatever, five foot, whatever e-priests, it's very odd construction of arguments to put together in a clip. And bear in mind, it's been edited. It's an edited clip where Lila's like, that goes in, that goes in, that goes in. It's a horrible look for Catholics. People are sick of hearing women telling men what to do. And I just think it's gross. Now, did she or did she not double down? I'll talk about the conjugal debt thing in a second, but people know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, and there's a great thing in chat here. Rafty Pina said, priests sacrifice sex. It doesn't mean that they don't want it. It wouldn't be a sacrifice if they didn't feel they were losing on something, which I thought was a good point.
That's true.
It's not need. It's like,
But I think Lila and her nerdette guest, I should just get her first name. I think Lila and nerdette girl understand that, because remember, they're saying, well, I think they say at one point in the video, priests do want sex. They're still manly men. It's just their restraint that's so sexy to us. Well, why don't you have any restraint yourself? It doesn't count as restraint if you're lusting after. It doesn't have to be a 4'3" e-priest. I'm not naming anyone in particular. It can be anyone. If you're lusting after anyone outside your marriage but denying your spouse, think lowest form of life. Think lowest form of life. You should do whatever you have to do. And stay fit. Ask them to stay as fit as they can, so that it's easy for both of you to be like, I don't think of anyone else. I have eyes only for my spouse. And whether it's an e-priest or some e-celeb or a genuine movie star, I don't lust after anyone. And we're always, sexually active. Again, I'm not trying to be gross. I don't like getting bedroomy, but I have to cover the bedroomy stuff because Lila made such a stink out of the bedroomy stuff here.
Yeah, it's I was trying to find this lady's name in this big long text that she has, and I can't find it. But again, we don't need more Catholic women influencers telling men and women basically don't have sex, or here are the weird circumstances where you should not have sex. What we need, because this has become such a problem within marriage, is more Catholic women telling other women, you need to have a lot of sex with your husband. You need to be interesting. You need to be agreeable. You need to be obedient and humble and kind and loving and these sorts of things. We don't need any more of this content where it's basically just giving people excuses to castrate their husband in the eyes of chastity or growing in virtue and that sort of nonsense.
Restraint.
We need women being like, yeah, we've gotten off track. Like we're making too many excuses. We're doing marriage the wrong way. Women need to be having more sex with their husbands. There is a thing called the marital debt. Don't be a brat. Be agreeable, love your husbands, and do what God intended you to be and to do. So let's put this on. You said there was another one. There was a response. Let me get that ready. So she responded. Let me find this. She responded. And of course, women have a problem with accountability when they get called out. So instead of being like, yeah, that was weird. I had this girl on my podcast who was like lusting after this priest, as we're admonishing men to have self-control.
Sexual restraint.
Yeah, it's like which is hard for men. Can we talk about that for a second? It's like having, like, in marriage, it's like man has strong desires, and they're telling man to overcome their very strong natural desires in a marriage when he has right to sex. And these broads can't even keep their mouths shut about lusting after a priest on like a 3-second podcast clip.
It's sacrilegious, and it's committing adultery in the heart. And yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, they don't even have. This woman's not even restraining herself against a quasi unnatural vice, lusting after the clerical class, whereas it's a natural vice to find it tough to restrain yourself from your spouse. It's very natural. I mean, it's in some ways it's not even a vice. Great
and the
point.
guest name is Chrissy Horton. I'm just gonna let that one land. Because I'm mature. I'm a mature adult, so I'm not going to make fun of that last name at all. Okay, here we go. So here's Lila Rose's response, because again, I should have showed on the screen, but it went everywhere, all over Twitter, like Catholics, non-Catholics, atheists. I think like people were just talking about this. So here's her response, and tell me if you want me to pause.
And super chat if you want something specifically responded to, or if you want to defend Lila. Lo and behold,
some people were kind of trying to. I'll read this, but here she is.
Recent viral clip about Father Mike Schmitz and about the idea that men do not need sex. Let's take a look. Can we all talk about Father Mike Schmitz? I showed him to a girlfriend who's not Catholic, and she's like, when's mass? What about the man needing sex? That's just
I'll talk through this while she gets through this.
Men are like animals.
So,
have to be able to do that,
so she's
otherwise they're gonna go crazy.
She's saying, look, here's the recent clip.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to defend this. I'm going to defend what I did, even though everyone freaked out rightly in this case.
Right. Okay, it's about to end here. Let's see. Bringing life.
Sexiest thing about a guy is like their self-control, and my husband has.
And that's not the sexiest thing about a guy. It's
No.
Self-control.
That is such a. Thank you for saying that. Was one thing I forgot to respond to. Go off.
I like the fact that men are men, that they're they can be edgy and a little bit wild, not like in a non-virtuous way, but it's like this is the feminization of the men. It's this sort of stuff that women put out there that some betas they listen to. They're like, oh, is it self-control? This is what begets the milady guys and the guys that show up on dates with flowers and that write poetry and wear baby backpacks and like don't tell their wives no. It's because they're listening to women like this that are like, the sexiest thing about a man is when he acts like a girl.
Is when he acts like a giant wimp.
Yeah.
It's not true. Women like that men are wild and a little bit unpredictable. I know that for a fact.
What do you say? What is it true? It's like men want a good girl to be bad for them. And all girls want one bad boy to be good for them. And that is true. That's true. Nature. Yeah. And that is in nature, like the taming of the bad boy type thing. And like, get real. Like all of this ultra femme content these ladies are putting out, and they believe, like,
to be fair,
it's gross.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Like,
I think what she might say. Well, I think this is just weird. Constipated Catholic nerdette Nancy Drew schoolgirl fantasy about a priest. It's really weird. It's like Mormon fantasies, like Catholic e-girl fantasies. It gets really weird and sort of dorky, but sort of too much, sort of not enough, sort of too much. Odd. Everyone's weirded out. But I would say that what's true in what she's saying is that, yeah, every woman does want, and every man wants it too. This is where we differ from like the red pill and the red pill-ish things that we say. It's natural for a girl to want a bad boy to maybe be more tame, at least sexually, for her and be monogamous with her. I fully get that. So I'm not criticizing that. So if she means restraint that way, fine. But a woman she's not attracted to the fact that a guy has low libidinal drive. That's just not true.
Well, and it's also, it is like, to even put it that way, like I find it sexy that my husband restrains his sexual drive every now and again. It's like, it doesn't
make sense.
That doesn't, like, that's what is sexy about men, is that they have that strong drive. You know what I mean? That's what attracts women, normal women, to men. And I'm always seeing that women are saying men are sexy whenever they deny themselves in favor of a female preference, which is what this strongly reeks of. That it's like, oh, I don't want to get you pregnant too close to another pregnancy. And she's saying, oh, that's so sexy that my husband is like denying himself for me. And it's like, why not talk about what men are, why they are sexy, why they are attractive to women? It's because they act and think like men. But yet we have content constantly being pumped out to young men. And this is why a lot of them are choosing not to marry. This is why a lot of men are just sick. I mean, every time I see, you were saying this, a Catholic e-girl was on Twitter, and she's like, go to mass. And she's wearing a veil, and she's wearing like a dress, and she's a picture of herself. And men are like, shut up and get off the internet. And a lot of women are like, why am I being treated this way? It's like, there's a reason why, if you're actually curious why you're being treated this way, because guys are sick of women telling them what to do. They're sick of it. They're absolutely sick of it. So it's like, now they're getting more emboldened, and they're saying, like, stop telling us. You broads don't even know what you're supposed to do. You don't even know how to be a woman or feminine or obedient or kind. And you're out here telling us what to do. You haven't even figured it out. You have no play. You have no right biblically to even tell men what to do or teach men. And it's just extra unself-aware, because these women on the podcast couldn't even get it straight whether you can lust after a priest and have self-control there or not. It's just all over the map. Okay, so here is she. I think we've gotten to the point where she's going to respond to the response. So we'll get your response to her response to the response. All right, I muted it.
Abstinence, periodic abstinence in marriage. We talk about chastity. We talk about the priestly vocation and the celibate vocation, and a whole host of other topics.
Pause.
And the tweet.
She's trying to sanitize. See how she's trying to clean up? Well, we did. Look at all the virtue signaling. We talked about the priestly vocation versus the non-priestly vocation. We talked about the difficulties and the trials of marriage. I'm doing ad hocing some, but we talked about what it's like to be a married person with temptation. She's trying to clean it all up now, because she went, look, this show goes a little off script sometimes, as you people know, parish orphans and retrogrades, but it never gets gross and bedroomy. Right? Notice I don't care what show you watch, whether it's Michael Knowles, if he goes off script, it's entertaining. If maybe Nicholas Fuentes goes off script, it's very entertaining. It might get a little blue, but it doesn't tend to get weird and bedroomy. Yeah. You get a couple of dorky moms together, like Lila and whatever, and it gets weird and bedroomy and in an emotional affairish, like this is a married woman that's like, I showed this picture of this guy to my girlfriend. It's like, why are you doing that? I mean, did you show a whole body pic?
Right.
Because he's a short dude. But I mean, this is what it's getting a little TO'd. There are no whole body pics.
There are going to be a lot of ladies mad at you for this one.
Well, I'm a dude. That's what I do. But see, notice when I go off script, it's either funny or maybe I take a swing and I miss. But it's not automatically going to emotional affair with an e-priest. That's weird.
This is a married,
that's what dorks do.
These are couples who are like, what's your celebrity crush? It's like, gross, weirdo. Like, that's not appropriate for married women. We have a challenge in chat. This woman says, this is gossip. Lost respect for Tim and Steph today. Chrissy's husband waited patiently while she healed, just like Steph waited for Tim to heal after his surgery. This is not gossip. This is public, by the way.
Wait a minute. That's gossip.
That's gossip.
When did I ever talk to you, rando chick online, about my surgery or waiting to heal? I didn't talk about this publicly either. It's not gossip when she says it. You don't understand the difference between calumny, which is a lie, detraction, which is true, but it's public revelation of private facts, and then nothing. You got mortal sin, venial sin, nothing. We're talking about something she published herself. There are two types of gossip, the latter two columns, calumny and detraction. We're talking about shit she said. So, lady,
publicly,
go bother your husband with this. Don't bother me with it. I'm not doing any gossip. We are responding publicly to public content. Legally, this is New York Times versus Sullivan. Morally, we're talking, go check your Catholic catechism or New Advent. There are three types of talking about something. This is the fully green lighted one. This is when someone says something, and they're acting as a public figure. They're talking about it. Well, I'm just reacting to it. That is a full green light, no even venial sin.
And it was
detraction is normally the yellow sin. Calumny is always a red light, always a mortal sin. Sorry, go ahead.
And they go on to say they're now spreading slander, saying Chrissy expects her husband to have a lower need for sex. No, we said what she said, that she finds it sexy when he restrains himself. And what I'm saying is, this is dangerous content. Men are in full revolt against women, because this is the type of stuff we're pumping out constantly that we find, which is just not true. I don't think most women find that sexy. It's just this feminization of the male, which obviously we're reacting to publicly. It's not disordered for a man to want or need sex in a marriage. That's what marriage is. That's what both people, man and woman, signed up for.
Can we, I didn't want to hear it the second time, but can you go back a little bit and play what she said? We are absolutely not. Now she's accusing us of calumny. Crazy, wild histrionics from ladies in the chat.
Do you want the original clip that everyone's responding to?
Well, I mean, because we just got through the original clip as part of Lila's second clip, which we need to get back to.
Yeah.
But if you just back it up 30 seconds, that's where the chick says restraint is, or even 10 seconds.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. Because I lost my spot here. Let me see.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Have to be able to do this sexual thing. Otherwise, they're going to go crazy.
I think it was a little bit before. Sorry. Okay.
Friend is not Catholic. She's like, when's mass? What about the man needing sex? That's just a cultural narrative that basically says men are like animals and they have to be able to do this sexual thing. Otherwise, they're going to go crazy. And the reality is there's whole vocations that are celibate. And these are virile men, men's men. Some of the most masculine of men I know are priests. We need food. We need air to breathe. We don't need sex.
Wait, pause.
That's coming together.
Yeah. The more I'm hearing this thing, more than I ever wanted to, it's weird just pitting their clerical crush priests against laymen who include the class of laymen who include their husbands. Now, I'm not saying they're entirely willfully doing this. It seems to be subliminal, subconscious that they're doing this, but it's really weird, isn't it? Do you see what I'm picking up on?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like, oh,
they're good.
They're good because they're restrained sexually. Let's also apply that to our husbands. Like, your husband doesn't have to be restrained sexually under normal circumstances.
Here's the really perverse part in it, and I just caught it, and it does speak to the hysterical woman's point in the chat, that they're literally saying this non-natural thing that women are attracted to restraint. Women are attracted to men who are restraining themselves from even illicit sex. And that in turn makes the women illicitly lust after those men. That is so odd. Yeah. Instead of saying, I hate to be Hegelian here, but there is something good where it's like, I desire you, you're desiring my desire. That, which is really a good model for marital attraction. I desire your desire. A good man is a man that's, again, it's gross and bedroomy, and I'm not trying to be like that, but a man that's not just caring about his own needs in the bedroom, but is actually desiring the desire of his wife and is open to suggestions or whatever. Now, I promise that's the furthest I'm going to go. A bad man's the guy that's just we got 10 minutes, I'm going to watch the ball game and I've had 6 beers, not listening to his wife's needs. You know, that's what feminists have kind of semi-rightly been saying for all these years. She's saying the opposite. She's saying a good man is a man that doesn't impose his desire for sex on any woman. And because this clerical man, like Father Mike Schmitz, I guess, never does that, that makes me weirdly, creepily put him on a kind of fetish fantasy. What's the term I'm looking for? Put him on a pedestal for sexual fetish fantasies. That's odd, and that's there's a bit of subtext in there, but that's really what I'm hearing, and it's a sort of perverse feminist inversion of the natural world. What men and women desire is each other's desire. You shouldn't be desiring the desire or desiring the body of anybody but your spouse. And we're not spreading we're giving a little interpretation, but we're letting them speak for themselves. And they are quite literally, they're quite figuratively condemning themselves, hanging themselves with their own rope.
Honestly, the one woman, Chrissy, she owes her husband an apology. Like, that was so inappropriate for her to be like, oh, when's mass? Like, I mean, that's just like, you never speak even third person about like a man's attractiveness. Like, when you're a married woman, it's so childish
or a married man,
babyish. Well, of course, a married man.
Do you hear me go up there and be like, my single friend says Angela Lansbury's so hot, he's got an old lady fetish or something, and like let that speak from my view. And I'm not even gonna say like a young actress, because I think it's lame. It's fake and gay when married couples have celebrity crushes. There's nothing more cucked and nothing more ignoble for a woman as well than for that person's spouse to openly have celebrity crushes. I don't have celebrity crushes. Like I sincerely, the Sydney Sweeney thing that broke out with the she's got good genes. I was thinking about this. So many lame ass married people taking occasion to be like, so she's hot, guy. Even doing content. Well, she's hot. I sincerely have never thought about it. That doesn't mean I've never noticed somebody before, but I'm like, oh, that's weird. What am I looking?
Right.
1.5 second rule, and then don't think about others.
Yeah.
You're really repudiating, abjuring all others. And these broads, Lila and, McKinley or whatever that lady's name is, they're not into the total repudiation of all others. For me, there is one woman, and I'm not, see, what you guys are used to is like what Nick Fuentes calls wife guy, admonishing all other men. Men I know are good at this. I'm not admonishing men, trying to domesticate men. Married men who have cool wives, and I happen to know a huge handful of them. There aren't that many in the United States of America or the Western civilization right now. They're really good at like, oh, yeah, dude, I don't want to talk about some celebrity crush. I don't want to talk about some other woman or single or married.
Gay.
It's gay. Women have the problem with this. This is a way women need to be shamed. You just saw it. And you have another woman waiting in the wing to defend this chick's celebrity crush, celebrity crush, even lamer. It's one thing if it's Brad Pitt. It's even weirder if it's some short celebrity priest and it's this Nancy Drew schoolgirl fantasy. And it's not even, it's dorky, but it's dorky and illicit. It's like when Niles Crane says, this is boring yet difficult. It's the worst of all worlds. You're just weirdos.
It's boring yet pervy.
Boring yet pervy.
This person said in chat, it said if a guy did something similar in regards to a nun, they
would be shitting Nokias everywhere. And Lila and Brinley would be doing it more than anyone. They'd be like, see, this is what we're talking about. This pervert said something sexual about it. He sexualized
about a holy nun,
about one of God's holy handmaidens. I'm just sick of women, man. And I mean, the thing is, like, the one woman I'm not sick of is Steph, and I don't even interact with any other women aside from responding to their shitty content. I mean, can they just go away? Before we repeal the 19th Amendment, which is a great idea, obviously, can we repeal all women's internet rights? Well, what about your wife? Blah, 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 blah. You get why? You get how I can say that and you can't catch me out? There's so many obvious ways if you've got even a 95 IQ. Women with their own shows, giving their own opinions, not under the bridle of their husband, appearing, trying to be hot, showing their mask fits, and giving their weird, constipated yet pervy opinions is passe. We should put
What's interesting about what we're doing here is if I say something retarded, and I do frequently, Tim is listening with his eardrums right now and will correct me and say, nope, that's not correct, which you guys have heard before, or hey, you should add some gloss to that. Like, the women are just like free on the internet. Yeah. They're just wild like chickens,
and the
just
rest
running free. And no male is like in the room being like, okay, you need to shut up. That's what you just said right there was gross and weird. And we're talking about a priest, and you just contradicted the point that you were just trying to make. If a man was in the room listening to that, if Tim Gordon was in the room with these broads while this was happening, he would be like, no, stop it right there. Stop it right there. You just contradicted yourself and you sound retarded.
Well, there's also conversational guidance. The reason I don't think you've said that much that's retarded on this show where I have to be like, nah, the reason I'm not nervous that it's going to happen is because of the nature of virtue as a habit, not an act. And there's conversational flow guidance. So we never go into, and also you just don't have celebrity crushes, same as I don't, because it's lame. Save it all for your spouse, perverts. But we don't do that. We don't talk. I don't talk to my dudes about, what about Angelina Jolie or Sydney Sweeney or whatever it is. It's just, that's so lame. Get into your wife. If your wife isn't attracting you currently, then you probably both have physical workouts to do so that you can attract each other. But it's an emotional thing. And the point is, I don't let conversations go that way. You wouldn't bite on them anyway. Steph.
No.
But when a woman has her own show, there's no like governor on the engine. There's nothing governing it. They just go into, they don't even know it because it's the prissy Miss Priss act, you know, always virtue signaling everyone. Men, you need to be more virtuous. The worst sentence in the English language is women going, man, you need to be more virtuous. You need to learn what a real man is. Whereas suicide is a mortal sin, and I'm not gonna. But every man is like holding the finger guns to his temple.
You're like, I want to jump eyes first into a vat of acid when I hear a woman saying that. Like, that is just, and it's everywhere. We get it still on your channel. It'll be women telling you like, you need to speak like a woman. I find this offensive. It's like, get lost.
Or worse yet, is like telling you need to be more like, maybe more like this woman's prophet, this priest, because he makes me feel good. It's like, well, yeah, because this is a feminist. So a guy, if he's got, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular now, even though we've talked about the specific subject of her weird fantasy. Just in general, if a guy's a low libido, cuck beta, feminist who never imposes on women or prevails on them for sex, then I guess weirdly this appeals to all the Nancy Drew nerdettes out there, the Catholic squad of nerdettes out there, and that gets their fire roaring. Well, that's weird, and we don't have to deal with it. Let's hear some of Lila's defense. I mean, these are all good comments. I thought we were going to get like a barrage of histrionics in the super chat.
And we'll do a local show. We always do a local show after the live show for just the locals, and you can tell everybody what the topic will be. But here we go. Here's Lila again, defending all this.
And it's designed for life for the world. No, don't get me wrong.
I'll move it forward.
Men do not need sex. Our culture is so hypersexualized that the idea of a celibate priest leaves people in disbelief as if it's impossible. That's heartbreaking. Have we really forgotten that self-control and virtue are within reach? Look at Jesus Christ. The most perfect man to ever walk the earth was celibate and sinless before he was crucified.
Pause. Jesus is my boyfriend. It's just the priest is my boyfriend. Weird, dorky, Catholic. I don't know if it's, I'm a Catholic. I'm raising good Catholic girls. I don't want them to be dorks, though, and have weird. They should want manly dudes. They note what she's doubling down on in the first place is we like the clerical class. They're better than the class of laymen, which my husband populates. Lila's or McKinsey's or whatever. That's so odd. They're like pitting us against the priests. And this is what they do every day online. Like, you need to be more like a guy who's living sexlessly. Like, that's not true. That corresponds with the vocation of the clerical class. That doesn't correspond with this vocation. Our job is to populate the pews, to get busy and to get busy frequently, and to have the women enthusiastically into that. And so it's really, really odd to do this double inversion where you're like, I'm attracted to low libido men, and low libido men make my libidinal drive high, even though this is adultery, emotional adultery. It's so odd, and she's doubling down on it.
She almost is reading this like a high school girl, like reading a poem she wrote in front of a class.
She is.
It's like, this is so fun. I'm having a hard time even following. Okay, here we go.
Sins. Shouldn't he be the supreme model for manhood? Self-mastery, discipline, total self-gift, all out of love. Priests choose celibacy so their hearts can belong entirely to God. As St. Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 7:32-35, I want you to be free from anxieties. The unmarried man is anxious about the things of the Lord, how to please the Lord. But the married man is anxious about worldly things, how to please his wife, and his interests are divided. I say this for your own benefit, to secure your undivided devotion to the Lord. Abstinence isn't just for priests. Intermittent abstinence can also be a beautiful practice within marriage.
She's never seen the word intermittent before.
Bringing a baby into the world. When practicing natural family planning, NFP, spouses can grow in self-mastery, deepen their love, and remain faithful to God's design for marriage. Christ is the model, love is the reason, holiness is the goal. So this post has generated a lot of attention, a lot of views. There have been thousands of comments. Many have been positive.
No. Oh, okay. Now you're just lying. There were some likes. There were a few thousand likes on it, but all of the comments were scorching her. That's not true that many have been positive. This is self-deluded, histrionical womening.
My sister in Christ. That's a female move. Like to say, like some have been positive, some have been negative. Like to even put it through that lens. It's like this is why women don't belong in this
public
role.
Discourse.
She doesn't. You need a man to be like the checks and balances. That's how it works beautifully in the household. And when you don't have a man checks and balances, you get the boss babe mentality on podcasts, in the workplace, in church, all these other things. And women need restraint. They need men to step in and say, nope, that's not right. That doesn't follow. This is stupid. Like you're being emotional, whatever it is. And when you don't have that, there's so many errors abound because this is just not a natural forum for her. Like if her husband were sitting next to her, and I'd like to think that he'd stop her as many times as you're stopping her right now and being like, that's dumb. That's a dumb point you just made.
You know he wouldn't.
Here she goes.
Yes, these are very important messages to share about chastity, about periodic abstinence in marriage, NFP, about contraception is not the answer, etc. But there have been a lot of negative comments too, and I wanted to address some of those. The negative comments seem to be in maybe 3 buckets. One bucket, from what I've seen, is just straight up, just very crass, offensive, angry remarks about women in general.
Virtue signaling more. She's doubling down on virtue. I thought the first bucket was going to be, let's address the elephant in the room. While we're telling men to be more self-restrained sexually, we are endorsing and choosing to edit in instead of editing out gross remarks about the clerical class. And that's not bucket 1, Lila. Are you going to address that in bucket 2? Let's go on.
And plus, like crass things about women, like this is the problem. Women act retarded on the internet constantly. And then when people are like, you're being retarded, then they reflect, then they it's like the Mott and Bailey.
Crass.
They're like, oh, you're so not being a gentleman. You're not being a gentleman to me. It's like, you're in the public sphere. What I'm saying right now, if men are making fun of it in chat, I deserve it. Like that's how it works.
It's the rules of the game.
And this is why women who clearly don't belong there, because they'll say these things, they'll put content out there, and then when guys are like, shut up, your point is dumb, then they're like, oh, I can't believe, I am so wounded, this is ungentlemanly. It's like, because you're in a gentleman's sphere. You're in a gentleman's sphere.
And you're not being a gentlewoman, i.e. a woman who's at home, not seen and heard.
Absolutely. Okay, so here she goes again.
Casting or just, very derogatory comments.
Derogatory
not going to even
remarks
talk
about
that
women.
because that's just interneting. There are 2 other categories of critique that I've seen. One is about Father Mike Schmitz being included in the clip. And then
wait, hold on.
Is about...
Did she say interneting?
Yeah.
What is this phenomenon of women being like, you're just interneting? You make all your money on the internet, woman. You make all your money, Lila, on the internet. What do you mean interneting? You wouldn't be making nearly that handsome salary that everyone now knows you made because you had to publish it. And I'm not begrudging that.
You said intermittent on the interneting?
Intermittent.
Intermittent on the interneting?
Interneting, what is with women hate? Because the internet is the wild, wild west and men rule. So I've heard this a lot over the last year. Like, you're just interneting. It's like a woman... Nietzschean dissimulation. It's Nietzschean ressentiment. Men win in the wild, wild west. Women are just basically side characters. That's what's great about Westerns. The last great, they're just, they're populating the saloons, either the barmaid or the hookers. I'm not endorsing prostitution, or maybe the occasional loyal, exceptional support role.
The Grace Kelly
in High Noon.
Yeah.
But she's pretty much one of those 3. You're a barmaid, you're a hooker, or you're the occasional rare good woman. Also very, very true to life. and that's what's great about Westerns. And the internet is the wild, wild west. And the internet, wild, wild west, frightens women. So they just, whenever they get what's coming to them, they say, you just interneted so hard. Okay.
Somebody said Steph's headstone, women act retarded online constantly.
It is. And she talks like that in real life too. And this is all these things are deeply held beliefs, which is why people turn to this show. We're going to be honest with you. It's sometimes hard to walk the talk for me, for Steph.
Yeah.
We've been very honest about that. I've been honest about that in the context of personal stuff like hypochondria, or Steph with patience with my hypochondria. Look, we it's hard to walk the talk, but we're talking the true talk that we really believe.
And honestly, I think my headstone will actually read man's best friend in relation to him. That's what I actually want on my tombstone.
She's this man's best friend. And that's not a wife guy thing to say. It's that no one else supports me like this crazy, lovable, beautiful broad.
People are gonna be like, was an actual hound buried here? Okay. All right, here she goes.
You ever talk that way about an e-priest or anyone, I will rage. And you never do. You never would.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Never. No,
there'd be like an explosion on this side of town. All right, here we go.
The idea that no, men do not need sex. It's not a biological need the way that food, water, air is to breathe, whatever. It is not a need. And so I want to address both of these. First of all, on the topic of Father Mike Schmitz, there's been some comments saying this is sexualizing priests and that this is sacrilegious or this is evil or wrong.
Well, it was.
And this is inappropriate, etc. And I think it's really important to note that, of course, Christy, my lovely guest, her intention was in no way to be disrespectful or.
And yet she was.
And yeah, thank you. But and honest appraisal, I didn't take account, but there were countless remarks. All the remarks were negative. I would say 70% of them were on her weird friend's weird fetishization and her weird friend's friend fetishization of this e-priest. That was 70% of the remarks. So she's like, well, this is bucket B. Bucket A is normally the majority bucket. And she's just trying to counter signal with bucket A saying men are being crass. She's not being honest. Everyone was like, this is creepy. What a weirdo.
We'll read all the super chats here at the end too. But also, this is just classic female. Like all of us have dealt with females and they'll do something retarded and just socially unaware like this. And then what happens? It wasn't her intention. And it's like, well, okay, regardless of that, like she did it. like she definitely made a boo-boo. And how about just be like, yeah, that sounded retarded.
In
I'm
full
sorry.
public view, there's no question about it. She was lusting after a priest, and you edited that in rather than edited out. So you're formally cooperative with it, Lila.
And she laughed. She thought it was funny when the girl said it. Like in the
that's what
clip.
I meant. Formal cooperation. She not only edited it in, she laughed. She was goading her on. Seemed to agree. It's creepy. It wasn't like it seemed creepy and everyone got her wrong. That's womaning hard. You say everyone else is interneting hard. You're womaning hard. That's a slam dunk. You guys done messed up.
And this is the thing, like when men do men humor and they say things that are crass, women are out there going like, oh, you shouldn't speak like that. But this is what I would call female humor. Like, oh, isn't he cute? And then like when people are like, yeah, that's a dumb joke and that's not appropriate. Then they're like, oh, that was just an innocent little moment. You know what I mean? Then it turns to, they try to put more, I don't know, like they try to give a benefit of the doubt with their stupid jokes, but they're the same ones out there. If a man makes a joke they don't like, then they're like, that's inappropriate. Like what she did at the beginning. She's like, oh, they were saying inappropriate things. It's like, well, so were you.
Maybe they weren't intending to say inappropriate things. Maybe they were they flew into a rage because you're annoying. It could be that, Lila. Maybe they didn't intend to, though.
Yeah, maybe we're not intending any of this right now to sound crass or mean-spirited. Just for the disclaimer, I'm not intending anything of what I'm saying right now to sound mean-spirited towards Lila and Brinley or whatever her name is. Here we go.
Objectifying of priests or anyone. And of course, that was not my intention either.
Intention again.
Wait, hold on. I can play it again. Oh, how about I just play it again?
And again with the intention. It's like, and yet it made a 30-second clip. It was a feature of a 30-second. What was the intention?
You had to intend it because you kept it on there. You literally kept it in there, Lila. You kept it in the clip. Here's what you said.
Mike Schmitz, I showed it to a girlfriend who's not Catholic, and she's like, "When's mass?" What about?
Yeah, Lila was laughing. I just saw.
Talk about Father Mike Schmitz. I showed him to a girlfriend who's not Catholic, and she's like, "When's mass?"
And what was the context of showing him?
Yeah,
that's the other thing. It's like, it's so obviously inappropriate. Like, who's show and tell, like, take a look at this priest, gals. Like,
just weird, creepy, but what did you say? Boring yet perverted?
Yeah, boring yet
constipated gross. Catholic e-girls. The world has had enough. You know, drop your shows, go home, make your husband a sandwich, be a good wife, support his dreams, listen to his fears. Listen one more time.
Can we all talk about Father Mike Schmitz? I showed him to a girlfriend who's not Catholic, and she's like, "When's mass?" What about the man?
Lila was laughing. So can we talk about Father Mike Schmitz? That cultural idiom, you know, it's particular to our era. I mean, it's like, can we talk about this? Can I get an amen? Just these lame, dorky e-girls trying to soft pedal smut. And it's really, again, we've hit this point a lot. It's boring and it's lame and everyone's laughing at them like a Mormon sister wife fantasy or something, but it's still wrong. And Lila's trying to navigate around that by regaining the upper hand, by being the one to condescend to us morally. And it's not going to work because Lila, here's the thing. I might drop the occasional F-bomb on this show, not in the context of sex. I might drop a language here. I might be a little uncharitable at times. I'll always go back and I'll make amends with people if there's grounds to make amends. And people will attest. I'm eager to do that. I never get bedroomy. I never have endorsed the kind of fantasizing of someone outside of my wife in private life, in 20 years of marriage, or in full public view. So you can't catch me out, and you can't condescend to me because I don't do that. I don't even do that in my private life. I didn't even do that when we were dating. We have a no outside crushes policy. The second you're in even a courtship relationship, you start feeling like I need to practice for marriage.
And this is why I'm constantly horribly embarrassed for women. Like, honestly, it's like anytime we're out there saying anything, it's stupid, and then we get called on it, and then we come out with even stupider things like this. It's just like the female mind doesn't do well in forums like this, because really what she should have done is she should have been like, I'm sorry, that was in poor taste. Yeah. I see what the critiques are. I should have, told my guests like, oh, that's not really appropriate. You're a married woman and we shouldn't make jokes like that about a priest. Like, that's what a man would have done if he was actually called out on his stuff. But instead there's a follow-up video like this, which is horribly embarrassing for women everywhere, where it's just like lack of accountability. Like, don't believe your ears and eyes, like trying to cloak everything in some sort of virtue, or that we're not getting something basic, that their intent, hearing about everybody's intentions. It's like, I don't care about your intentions. That's not what came across. I didn't step in between your brain synapses and figure out like what you were intending. All I know as an outside person is that what you put out there.
What you said, how you edited the video, put 2 or 3 different Mike Schmitz pictures up there. Again, not full body pics, but it's just weird. And you edited that and you knew exactly what you're doing. And there's a weird smattering of topics, even in this minute clip, that don't really go together aside from to call you out and make you into a hypocrite with the restraint thing. So it's pretty comprehensive. We're not harshly judging Lila. We can play the rest of her unpology vid. I call that an unpology for the locals. Let's leave that right where it's at. Okay. And we got to close out. Are there super chats we need to address real quick?
People wanted to talk about the NFP question. And again, it's like these things are it's like a lot. When did it become like a thing where everybody in Catholicism wants to talk about like porn addiction and
the bedroomy stuff?
The bedroomy stuff. It's like gross,
boring yet perverted. People don't think I'm a Boy Scout. People think I'm more one of the ribald, on the cutting edge Catholic guys. But I don't like that stuff. NFP is not doctrine. Some people say it's too risque. Some people say it's too strict. Until the church teaches on this definitively, I'm up to let that be a prudential call up to the individual man of the household. And yes, it's up to him because of the patriarchy. So I'm not going to talk about NFP. The porn thing, everyone knows it's porneia. It's wrong. You can't. I know that's not a huge part of this channel, right? We do more important stuff like teaching you how to save America. It's got to be the church teaching you America's ideologically Catholic, teaching you about the patriarchy, teaching you about what women should be doing, asking their husbands at home, teaching you how best we know from 2 imperfect people that have figured this out for 20 years, how to leave and cleave and enjoy having a patriarchal home and other stuff besides. I'm not interested in that. Any other remarks? Let
me read some super chats. So it said, hey, Tim and Steph, great show so far. What do you guys think about the statement, sex is the glue that holds a relationship together?
I mean, there are 4 Aristotelian causes. It is in some ways. It's not in others, because then you're just going to start one of these retarded female-esque conversations where exception makes the law, and I don't believe in that. Like, well, what about if you're both quadriplegics in beds near each other? You can't be married? No, it doesn't technically or formally hold the relationship together. It's the final cause, procreation and the unitive good of the spouses, but it's not the formal cause of marriage. It's not the efficient cause of marriage. It's something like in some ways, it's materially causal. It's finally, I mean, it's just, it is, if you have a good sex life, then you're going to be closer. If you're closer, you're going to have a good sex life. So I just don't want to talk about the bedroomy stuff beyond that. It's just weird. It's weird. All the prudish, constipated seeming e-girls want to talk about the weird pervert stuff. Like that's between a man and his wife. Follow the hard teachings of the church. It hasn't given too many official instructions on this, but follow all those, and work it out for yourselves. Get your instructions from your patriarch.
I do want to get your response before we go about that one Olivia girl that you responded to on the internet, because it does pertain to this. I thought that was really funny, but okay, I'll read some more.
She says, "Go to mass,"
I'll show,
and then she pictures herself. Oh, yeah, you have that?
No, I will.
The most hilarious thing.
I'll read some more super chats and I'll find that. Ask the Kid said, Diamond called you a heretic in his most recent video about Muslims. I don't think that, but he made some good points. Will you react?
I mean, I'm debating Jay Dyer again. I'm sure Jay will bring it back up. I don't know. Was Pope Gregory VII a heretic? Is Suarez and Bellarmine a heretic? Is the church's teaching on infidels heretical? If you don't understand that Muslims and Jews are infidels and all the polytheists are pagans, polytheists and in some sense atheists are pagans, but Muslims and Jews, the church has always, for 2,000 years, or in the case of Islam about 1,400 years, set them aside and said they're not pagans, they're infidels, because they worship the one God improperly. If you don't know that, then you just don't know history. So I don't know. I saw his weird thumbnail, or someone's weird thumbnail about his weird thumbnail. Kind of just don't have time for that. Don't read your press clippings.
Yeah, people always send us stuff like so-and-so said something about you, and we're like, okay, who cares? Let's see here. They want their husbands to be gay roommates. Men are over it.
Yeah.
It's just like a roommate relationship where a woman is like telling a man, these are what your desires should be. These are what your desires ought not to be. And then the men are just like nodding with their baby backpacks and like asking them if they need a drink.
Yep. Asexual roommates.
Okay. Favorite times in history. Love you guys.
I mean, I don't know. In some ways now, I'm glad to live now. In other ways, I would just say early America, probably. Favorite time, I don't know, Athenian Enlightenment, 33 years when our Lord walked the planet. I'd have loved to have met Aquinas. Yeah, they're not the most creative answers, but in some ways now, maybe that's something people would say. Everyone's illiterate now, and that's annoying. And no one's genteel anymore. I'm far more genteel than I sound, I think.
You are. Yeah.
I don't mean gentle, I mean genteel. There's a difference. But and I'm more classical than the stupid lack of three-piece suit in the way I approach the world. But it's not in the LARPy ways. So in other ways, I do like, having penicillin or basketball. So
I really like English history a lot. And I read a lot about like Tudor era. Weirdly enough,
you're related to them.
Yeah, weirdly enough, I just found out that on my mother's side, I'm actually related to Queen Catherine Parr, who was the only surviving wife of King Henry VIII. So through my maiden name Green, not my maiden name, but one of my family members, I'm related to Queen Catherine Parr, which is kind of funny. So
that is funny.
I guess the Green family was very prominent throughout English history or whatever. So that was kind of a funny thing. Okay, let's see here. Also, have you guys heard of the concept of transactional sex versus help me with this word. validational sex, aka duty sex versus genuine desire. I'd argue that this Horton girl, which is the girl that Lila was talking to, is either prude or she doesn't desire her husband.
I mean, I don't want to get like totally into her head, but that's what she seemed like in this clip. Yeah, that's totally. And yeah, it's a good distinction. It's a real distinction. Women who are actually, again, what she presented in that minute clip totally presents as someone who's merely just getting by. Now, I don't know that that's the case. And none of us do. But she completely, if that's not the case with her, maybe it's not. She gave herself, her own self, a bad false light look. Totally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you brought it up, Super Chatter. Which Super Chatter was that? So
Sidehound Sage.
Yeah. So I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Who knows? Maybe she's not. Maybe she just gave herself a bad look. But
their husbands need to be. I love that old. Was it a Progressive commercial where it was like a woman like giving like a speech, and then the guy at the end, and then it ends the commercial, goes, "Where is your husband?" Like that's what I'm going to start asking women when they're speaking publicly. It's like, where is your husband at? Why are you? We need a checks and balance system in place for women speaking in public. Their husbands need to be next to them, hearing the things that they say and correcting them publicly, which is what I love about Andrew and Rachel Wilson. Like, she'll say something and he'll be like, "That's stupid." She just laughed because
even if it's
knows.
not, and Rachel says less stupid stuff like you, less stupid stuff publicly than all the girl influencers out there. She has a far better batting rate, but it's charming that he's calling it stupid. Which half the time you'll say, "Oh, Tim said this is stupid." I won't even correct you just because it's fun to let it ride. Oh yeah, don't say stupid stuff, wife, because that's what's needed in the world. But I'm like, I didn't even think that was that stupid. But I'm like, I'll bite my tongue. Yeah, that was stupid.
Right. But the husband's ability to say that's what I love. That's why I know they walk the walk, because men who know their wives aren't going to throw major tantrums and they know their place can say things like, "That was a retarded point." And the wife could laugh it off and be like, "Yeah, you're right." Like, and I'm thankful that my husband's here to correct me if I'm saying something stupid, which as a woman, I do say. And it's like, it's nice that you're sitting here, which is why I don't appear unless you're in earshot hearing me speak. Because if I'm saying something that it automatically represents your household, and you have every right to step in and be like, "That's not correct. This is correct." And frankly, I don't even talk I don't tell men what to do. I'm just here to like tell women, like, stop being annoying. Stop being annoying.
Full disclosure. Yeah. The only, we've talked about this throughout the last year. I've had these struggles with specifically hypochondria and mental health. And I'll be like, "Steph, what do you think of this?" Even that limited domain of me saying, "Hey, you have better sense on this. What do you think of this? Do you think my elbow's falling off?" Even that limited domain has thrown off in ways more prominent than just the domain of health worry. And we've noticed it, and we're like, wow, this is crazy, because it's crazy that even a small corner of life gets expanded upon when the man's going maybe in ways that are too much to the woman. But aside from that, like we've always had a real nice balance, and it's like, it just drives the point home even more that what we wrote in our book, what you wrote in your book, "Ask Your Husband," is so right. I know you believe it with your whole heart, because it's like, wow, we've seen it when even in one small way we come off of that. It makes both of us sort of hypocrites. Even in this small way, it gets exaggerated.
And it's kind of an interesting, a test for women. Like, if you're dating a girl right now and you're a single guy, like, if she says something dumb, you can just be like, "That wasn't a good point. Like, stop," and see how she responds. Like, if she's like laughs,
don't do it on the first date.
Marry her.
Yeah. Do it on like the fourth date. Once she knows you're not.
Once you're settled in a relationship, you're like, okay, we're pursuing this relationship. And anytime she says something that's genuinely wrong or just a dumb point, if you're like, "That's not a good point," or no, that's not true. And if she laughs, then you've got yourself a keeper. If she starts freaking out and saying, "Well, that's not my intent," and all this other stuff, like, okay, dump her. Okay, here we go. Next super chat. I think this was a passive attempt by Lila to promote sexless marriages. There are a lot of Catholic women who do not want to have sex with their husbands, and this is a get out of jail free card. That's exactly what I was saying.
I think to justify them, not to promote them. To be fair to Lila, I don't think she would say she wants sexless marriages. She the one thing we know she likes, she doesn't seem to love men too much, but she does like babies. We'll give her credit for that. She's done what she can in her girly way to save a lot of babies, so give her credit. Where due, even though she's annoying. So she likes babies. I don't think she's promoting sexless marriages. I think she's justifying them where they creep up, because the first rule of feminism, which she honors preeminently, is never say a negative thing about a woman. A lot of women are lusting after priests and not doing their husbands enough. And so, yeah, she'll justify. I don't think she's promoting it. But
it's all like her content and a lot of like Catholic women influencer content. It's just like softening the ground for women's preferences to rule king.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's denying that men also have preferences. They have a right to their preferences. They have a right to be men. And women need to be far more gracious and understanding that men are men and women are women. And really, it's the Catholic female influencer that her entire job, writ large, is to be out there telling men what a man looks like, what he sounds like, what he should like, what he shouldn't like, what he should put up with, what he shouldn't put up with. And that's not their role. It's never been their role. Everyone now is coming to the conclusion that, rightly, that we've been saying for years, like, just shut up, shut up. Like, that no one wants you in that position. Yeah. Like, if you want to save babies, great. Where's your husband? Where's Mr. Rose? Can he take over this operation? Can we see more of him on the podcast? Can he maybe sit there and make sure she's not sounding stupid every 5 seconds?
Yeah, he'd be better at it. Like, she gets credit for doing that while single. It's no longer appropriate because she's married. But we know she loves babies, that the Lord will favor her for that work, but just your husband will be better at it. To pass it off. We gotta.
Okay, let me just show this real quick because this was funny. She took it down, by the way.
What?
That one
response.
So this is a thing on Twitter. No, this is the new girl. So this is this account. It's like Olivia something, a Catholic lady. She had like 90,000 subscribers or followers on Twitter, and she posted a picture of herself in like a kind of a long dress. But it was clearly like, look at me, I'm beautiful, I want attention. I want men to comment on my photo about how pretty I am. And
you said the other day, that's why they do it.
That's the only reason why they do it. Like, girls, stop. Everyone knows what you're doing.
And then saying something like holy-ish, like go to mass, go to confession, or my favorite yet is Hail Mary, full of grace. Girls will just post that with an attention, a physical attention seeking photo of themselves, and which is a prostitute like intent. It's a bad intent. But then they'll say, Hail Mary, full of grace, or go to mass, go to confession.
So you just said, get off the internet, because like we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. You're like fishing for compliments. Everyone knows what's happening here. And she just wrote back, no. But this is the type of stuff. Women can't handle the internet.
No.
I had to get off Twitter. I couldn't handle it. I was either being a loudmouth, like annoying people, telling people what to do. I just we're not capable. I've never seen a woman handle it. Not one woman can handle internet access. No. They all misuse it.
Because they're supposed to be private, and the internet publishes what's private. We don't need to see the dress you wore to mass. Who cares? Go to mass. Well, then if they don't see me in my dress, then they might forget to wear clothes to mass. This is the Lila-tization of trying to defend doing something inappropriate with moralizing. She's like, well, I'm just reminding them they can't go to mass naked. It's like, I mean, she didn't really say that, but that's the kind of stuff women get into to defend their bad behavior. They still try to approach it as the school marm. Well, then what? I was just reminding them they need to dress like this, or they need to put on pants. My intentions were pure. They weren't. And we all know they weren't. If you want to say go to mass, it's a stupid thing to say. Not one person went to mass that day because Olivia said go to mass.
In her like Sunday best and with like her leg out, Yeah. Like with the duck lips. Like guys aren't like, oh my gosh, this duck-lipped woman posted a selfie to remind, I have to go to mass today. She's wearing a floral gown.
Right.
This is what is happening. We're so off base. We're so off base. Like, it's just a massive problem. So, okay, we'll continue this on locals. I don't think we're going to go live today because we have to take our kids to piano. But we will post a video going over the latter half of Lila's unpology video, where she's just so everybody knows what her intentions were. So Tim will respond to that, and I will have that up later today. So,
okay. Peace. God bless you all. Sign up for homeschool, which I almost guarantee you're doing wrong. Sign up for homeschool. We're trying to get a big cohort of 12 to 24. God bless. Desville.